Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So today we are going to start our next topic, digital certificate. So we had already discussed number theory, modular arithmetic, Euler theorem, Totient function, then Fermat's theorem, Chinese remainder theorem. All these things we have discussed. Please go through the assignment that I had posted in your classroom. Also,
Ma'am, ওটা ইন্টারনালে আছে না?
try some exercise. Everything. Actually, you have a one internal, so there is a big syllabus for the internal. Okay. Now the thing is that number theory, Diffie-Hellman, RSA, you have to go through. I hope you got your previous year question papers from the Heritage Library. You got the previous year question paper. Okay. So from that section, please go through the Diffie-Hellman and RSA algorithms examples because like mathematical questions will come from module 1 and 2. Module 1, somebody's waiting. Okay, from module 1, there is a number theory and plain text to ciphertext conversion methods are there. So this is your module 1, where different types of attack. Attack means the first two classes we had discussed the different types of attacks, like evas dropping, masquerading. Then we have farming, fishing, snooping, spoofing. So different types of attack we had already discussed, right? So this is for your first module, first class, 2-3 classes I had discussed those things.
Ma'am.
No, not only module 1 and 2, there's some portion of module 3 will also there in your internal. Actually, I had to discuss with Adhija ma'am because Adhija ma'am, I had asked her, she told me she will let me know. So that is a common question paper will be set for all the questions who had opted for cryptography. Okay, so that's why I could not post the syllabus in your Google Classroom. So when Adhija ma'am will confirm me the syllabus, then I will post. But module 1 and 2 will be there, and which portion of module 3 will be there, that I had to confirm, and then I will post it in your Google Classroom. So
Ma'am,
number theory will be there.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, if there will be theory or practical, math-based question in the internal.
Basically, there are mathematical questions will always come, like RSA, Diffie-Hellman, L-Gamel. So these are and number theory. From there, you will get some mathematical questions.
Ma'am,
And for rest of the things like DSA, yes. And then you have some plain text is given. Then some method will be given. Key will be given. Now, for example, they are asking for using Playfair cipher. You have to convert it into ciphertext. Or some plain text is given with the help of Hill cipher. You have to convert it into ciphertext. So this type of question will always, you can see from the first module. Okay, so first module is basically contains different types of number theory algorithms, then different types of attacks, and the methods to convert plain text to ciphertext. Okay, so this is your module 1. So obviously you will get questions like suppose Euler theorem. What is Euler theorem? What is Fermat's theorem? Explain with examples. So this type of thing. Or a modular arithmetic question is given 3 to the power 71 mod 13. This type of question will be there. Then you have to calculate with the help of modular arithmetic and Fermat's theorem. After that, one plain text will be given. Then you have to convert it with the help of Hill cipher or Barnum cipher or Playfair cipher to some ciphertext. Then another question that from module 1 is evas dropping, masquerading, snooping, spoofing. Those, what are those things? Explain. That is, what is the difference between fishing and farming? So these are common questions from module 1. If you go through the previous year question paper, you can obviously get the idea that what will be the module 1 questions will be there. Now let's discuss about module 2. Module 2 contains mainly the algorithm types and algorithm modes. So algorithm types means like block cipher or stream cipher. So these are two mainly dealt with symmetric key cryptography. So Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm, RSA, LGAML, everything belongs to module 2. So you will get Diffie-Hellman, RSA or type of question from the module 2. Along with that, two symmetric key algorithm is also there, like DES, AES. These are two algorithms that is very, very important. When you will definitely get question from DES. Okay, so there is no question paper you can see in for your semester exam there where the DES and AES related questions are not there. Okay, so RC5 blowfish idea is important. Some algorithms are also there, but those are not very much important compared to DES and AES. So DES, AES, please go through that two algorithms from the symmetric cryptography, and then you have digital signatures that I had discussed in your last two or one class, that what is actually digital signature, how the digital signatures are generated with the help of RSA, with the help of LGAML. So those things you have to prepare. So this is your module 1 and module 2. Now module 3 is basically digital certificates, authentication, Kerberos. So these are for module 3. And module 4 is same as the web technology module 4, SSL, firewall, PGP, SMIME, VPN. So that is for module 4. Okay, so same module, same notes I will again forward you for the module 4 content. Okay, so let's discuss today. We have done with number 3. If you have questions or if you go through some question paper and you didn't get the idea that how a particular RSA problem we can solve or Diffie-Hellman problem we can solve, please let me know. I will discuss those things during the class. Okay, that portion we have that I don't know how to calculate RSA of a particular number, or if you are trying to calculate and then you cannot get the idea that how the value can be calculated. So please try those things from the semester question papers, because you know probably your semester exam also be done with the offline mode. So you have to prepare yourself. Okay. Okay. So let's discuss digital certificate today. Okay, students, just give me 10 seconds. I'm coming back with my glasses. Okay. So what is actually a digital certificate? As you can see that there is some requirement of the digital certificate. Okay. So the basic requirement is that both RSA, Diffie-Hellman, these algorithms actually suffers from man-in-middle attack problem. So the problem of key exchange is one of the most difficult challenges to tackle in cryptographic solution. Okay, another thing is that when you study Diffie-Hellman, when you study RSA from the book or from the notes, please also go through the man-in-middle attack in each case. That how Tom sits. That the last class I had discussed that how Tom sits between, in case of Diffie-Hellman, between Alice and Bob, and captured the data that they are transferring between the Alice and Bob, and actually calculating the both sides key values. So those things is very important. So if you are going through the Diffie-Hellman and RSA algorithm, please also go through the corresponding man-in-middle attack problem. Okay. So actually the problem, this is the problem that both RSA and Diffie-Hellman actually suffers from the man-in-middle attack. So if you are sharing some auxiliary value instead of sharing only, instead of sharing the actual value, if you are sharing some auxiliary values that are helpful to calculate the actual key, that also suffers from man-in-middle attack. So the problem of key exchange is one of the most difficult challenges to tackle in cryptographic solution. So after a lot of thought, this problem was resolved with a revolutionary idea of using digital certificate. Okay, so digital certificate is something that actually it is, you can say this is a document uh, just like our passport or driving license. So it actually helps us to build our identity purpose. So digital certificate is something that will also helps you to establish the identity, along with that sharing the key. So there are two purposes of using digital certificate. So for instance, suppose my passport, if I have a if somebody wants the identity purpose, I will share my passport, and that proves beyond doubt of variety of aspects that most important that thing. For example, my name. Let me see who is waiting. Oh, no. So, for example, it looks like it is a kind of passport that is actually served as the identity. So, it will contain, for example, what the passport will contain. Passport will contain my full name, my nationality, my date of birth, my place of birth, photograph, signature, everything will be there. So, in case of digital significant digital certificate, also it will contain different values to prove the identity along with sharing the key. Okay, so digital certificate is a very, very important thing that actually serves both integrity along with the authentication. Achha. For example, if you there are for example there is confidentiality, integrity, and authentication is there. So which is the most important security principle? Can you tell me which one is the most important security principle? Authentication, integrity. Acha, leave integrity. So if digital certificate is actually used for authentication along with the confidentiality. Confidentiality means that is you are sharing the shared key or you are sharing your public key. Digital certificate can be used for key sharing and at the same time authentication purpose. So can you tell me which one of the security principle is most important, authentication or confidentiality? Suppose you are calling someone, okay? So first you will say, hello, I am XYZ. Okay, then you will share the information with him or her, right? So when you are sharing that, hello, I am XYZ, so that means you are giving the authentication information first. Or if the phone number is already saved, then that means if I am calling, so suppose in your phone it is showing that LMD calling, something like that. So that means that is coming from the authenticated person. So whenever any security principle related issues are there, the first thing what you need to do, check the authentication. So first you have to check the authentication, then you can share the data with him or her. That's why authentication at the top level of the security. After that, integrity, confidentiality, not repudiation, everything lies. So if I am calling you, so first of all you have to check that you are getting the call from the legitimate user or not, or authenticated user or not. After knowing that it is coming from the legitimate user or authenticated user, then you will share the data. So that's why authentication is the most important thing. Then confidentiality, then the integrity, non-repudiation, everything lies after that. So digital certificate serves the both. It will be useful for your authentication purpose along with the confidentiality. Why it is called confidentiality? Because it will be useful for key sharing purpose. Not only you will share your key, just hello, my key is 5. So this type of thing you will not do. You will send it with the help of digital certificate. So digital certificate, what is the digital certificate? A digital certificate is a small computer file as it is simply a small computer file. It establishes the relation between a user and his or her public key. So it actually contains the username and his or her public key. So this is the scenario. So this is your digital certificate. So this is your digital certificate. So digital certificate, there are some contents are there. What are the different types of content? That is, it contains the public key information. Suppose that is my public key is, for example, 15. So that 15 will be there. If it is that is for online communication, so that is the website. So if I am using it for amazon.com, so it will be written as amazon.com. Then the company name. So there is an important field that is present in digital certificate, just like in passport. That's why it is always compared with passport or driving license kind of thing. So that is valid from valid to. This information is also there inside the digital certificate. And then it is there is a digital signature is also there. So it is a signature, just like in passport. If it can be done, that passport verification. So passport office will do the verification and gives a symbol. Same thing is done in case of digital certificate. So in case of digital certificate, so after all these informations are verified, a certified authority will sign their certificate. So it is trusted by internet browsers. This is user. This is encrypted communication. And this after the secure HTTPS, digital certificates will be generated. Normally digital certificate has an extension .cer. Okay, so if this is your digital certificate, so suppose this digital certificate will be named as, for example, LMD dot CER. Okay, CER. Okay, so this is the extension of the digital certificate .CER. So CER signifies the first three characters of the word certificate. Okay, so certificate. So first three character is CER. So .CER is the extension for the digital certificate. Just like in a passport, there is full name, nationality, date, and photograph, signature, everything is there. In case of digital signature also, there are some fields are there. For example, subject name or person's name, public key, email ID, valid from, valid to, and there is an important thing is there, that is the signature field. In case of passport, that is always signed by some trusted authority. In case of digital certificate also, this is also signed by some certified authority. তোরা নিশ্চয়ই দেখেছিস ভেরি সাইন, তারপরে আরো অনেক কিছু আছে যখন আমরা whenever we are trying to use any online bill desk. So these are some certification provided authority that are authority given by government of India. So with the help of these values, this certificate is verified. So if you give the digital certificate, so it will prove your authentication because that is signed by the some government of authorities person, just like VeriSign, BillDesk, etc., etc. The digital certificate also contain a unique number. In case of passport, you have seen that is a passport number is there, that is a unique number. So every digital certificate will also contain a unique serial number. So that means not two digital certificate issued by same issuer can have same serial number. So this is the main thing related to digital certificate. Okay, so this is the basic definition of digital certificate. That's why digital certificate is often compared with the passport, because all the passport fields are also similar in the digital certificate. There is a name, there is valid from, valid to, public key information, there is a serial number, and also there is a signature field is there, which field is actually signed by the VeriSign or some authorized person. Okay, now let's discuss that how we can create digital certificate. So digital certificate actually issued by Certification Authority, CA. So CA is the certification authority. So it is a trusted agency that can issue digital certificates. Since a CA can be overloaded with a variety of tasks such as issuing new certificate, maintaining the old one, revoking the ones that is become invalid for some reason, the CA also appoint some of its tasks to done by a third party, and that is called registration authority or RA. So CA is something that is a trusted agency that can issue the digital certificate. Now CA is overloaded, so same person is issuing new certificate, maintaining the old certificate. Also, that is lapsed due to some reason. The CA needs to take some actions against that case. So CA needs to delegate some of his tasks to some third party, and that are called registration authority. So registration authority, what is actually registration authority? So registration authority is the intermediate entity that acts between user and the certified authority. The communication between RA and CA can be highly protected, making it difficult to break into this portion of the connection. So RA commonly provides the following services: accepting and verifying registration information about new user, generating keys on behalf of end user. So these are the two common things that RA actually perform. So first of all, it accepts some of the registration information from the CA and checks everything is going on properly or not. It also generates keys on behalf of the end user that is mentioned in the digital certificate. So what are the different certification creation steps are there? First is key generation. First key generation, then registration, then verification, then certificate creation. Okay, so there are 4 steps are there: key generation, registration, verification, certificate creation. So let's discuss these steps in detail. So let's discuss these steps one by one. So first step of this digital certificate creation is key generation. Okay. So what is done inside the key generation? So this is the key generation means asymmetric cryptography is there. So you are user. You can generate the keys two ways. Either you can generate the public key, private key. Both you have generated, and then you give the public key to the particular website, and then you keep the private key with yourself. Okay. So this is one way in case of key generation. So the user can create a public key and private key pair with the help of some RSA or LGML or some other algorithm. Then the software that is usually part of the web server that you keep your public private key with you. That's generated as a secret key, and you can send the public key along with other information and evidences to the registration authority or RA. To the registration authority or RA. So this is your key generation step. So in the key generation step, what you can do, you can with the help of a software, you generate a public key and private key. You will keep your public key with you, private key with you, and you will give the public key and other information, your name, your some other document related data to registration authority. Okay. So another thing, what you can do that instead of generating the both keys, one public key and private key, you did not generate anything. Instead of that, you will say, registration authority, please create 2 keys for me, one for public and another for private. So registration authority will generate the 2 keys and send the private key to you, and public key will be there with the registration authority. Because after the key generation steps, the registration will be done by the registration authority. Okay, so there are two people are involved over here. One is RA, CA, and you, that is the user. Okay, so there are three people are involved in case of certificate creation. One is user, registration authority, and certification authority. So actually whole work should be done by the certification authority, but certification authority is very much overloaded. So they appointed registration authority to take the applications, check the applications are okay or not, or check everything that given by the user are right or not. Suppose address that is okay or not. It is a verified. All verifications will be done by the registration authority. So registration authority, after the verification, then the certification authority will sign those things. Okay, so registration authority will sit between users and the certification authority to minimize the load of the certification authority. So key generation step is actually either done by user or it is done by RA. So in case of key generation step, either user can generate both public key and private key. Private key will be kept with the user and the public key will be given to the RA along with the other information for verification purpose or registration purpose. Or this key generation can be done by registration authority will generate the both keys, that is public key and private key for a user. Then public key will be kept with RA and private key will be given to user. So these are the two steps. After that, what will happen? Next step is registration. Step 2 is registration. So what will happen in case of registration? So it required only if the user generates the key pair in the first step. Okay. So if the in the first step, if the user generates the key, then this registration will be required because RA will be so user will send the public key to registration authority, and registration authority will perform some verification, some work to register that public key as the public key of suppose user XYZ. So this is for registration purpose. After that, what will happen? Next step is verification. So next step is verification. So after registration process is done, now RA has to verify user credentials. So user's credentials will be verified in the verification step. So what will be done? So RA will create one, will take one data, encrypt with the public key, and will be send it to the user. Now user has the decryption key or the private key with herself or himself. So he will decrypt the data and then again send it the value to the RA. If both the value matches, then the verification step is done. তোরা এরকম কাজ করে থাকিস দেখবি whenever তোর OTP দেখেছিস তো OTP but suppose you are going to do any operations, so the website will send you some OTP like 3910. So same OTP you have to write it down within a 15 seconds or 25 seconds or 30 seconds. So that is for verification purpose. Mobile verification, mobile number verification, email verification. So in case of email verification, a particular link is given, and when you click on the link, that is email verification is done. Or sometimes like you are giving email, one OTP is given, one time password is given to your email, and with the help of that value, you will verify yourself. Okay, so the verification is done to check that whatever the public key you are giving, the corresponding private key with you or not. Okay, so the verification is that authentication is checked with the help of this verification step. So this verification step is very important, where that it is actually checked, the registration authority will check that the user possesses the private key or not. Otherwise, this can create legal problems. So this is called proof of possession. So this verification step is called POP, proof of possession. So proof of possession of the private key. Now, after the verification is done, now user demand that the user must digitally sign her certificate. So it will verify the signature correctly using the public key. After that, the registration authority generate a dummy certificate for the user, encrypt it with the user's public key, and send it to user. The user can decrypt it with only if the user can have the corresponding private key. So this is how the registration authority will complete the verification steps. Sometimes registration authority also generates some random number. So this is called random number challenge. Generate some random number, encrypted it, and send it to encrypt it with the user's public key, and send it to the users. If the user can successfully decrypt the challenge with her private key, then the RA can assume that the user possesses the private key. So this is how the verification step is done. So after that, certificate creation. Now certification creation is done by the certified authority, CA. So this certification work is done by CA. So these two steps are done by RA. That is registration of a public key and also the verification of the user. So these two steps are done by the registration authority. After the verification is done, so all the documents are sent it to the certified authority or certificate for certificate creation. So RA passes all the details to the CA. Now CA creates the digital certificate for the particular user. So there are some standard formats is there. I will show you X.509. This is the format for the digital certificate. So certificate creation, for certificate creation, there is a particular steps are there. So CA's copy of the certificate is maintained by certification directory. After that, the just like a telephone directory, there is a directory is there for the certified authority. So they will prepare the certified authority. Now then this certificate, you will use this certificate to show, just like for if you done your BTech and you are applied for a job, you will show this is my BTech completion certificate. That is a graduation certificate. So same thing in digital certificate will be useful for sharing the key. You are not sharing the public key with somebody, but there is a digital certificate you will share. Digital certificate will contain your authentication along with your public key, and that is also signed by the certified authority. So this is how the certification creation is done. Now there is a question that that is in the example you have seen that this is CA signed. The whole document is signed by CA. So the question is that how this signs, how the CA signs a certificate. So CA first calculate a message digest over all the fields of the certificate. That is either using MD5 or SHA1, either MD5 or SHA1. Then it encrypts the message digest with its private key to form the CA's digital signature. Then the CA inserts its digital signature and thus calculated as the last field in the digital certificate. So this is how certification authority actually signs the certificate. So it first calculates the message digest over all the fields of the certificate. That is either using MD5 or SHA1, then encrypt the message digest with his private key, and that actually creates the digital signature. Then CA inserts the digital signature, thus as calculated as the last field as digital certificate. So this is how CA signs a certificate. So let's discuss this step with the help of an example. So this is the fields. So these are the fields that are actually standard field. So there is a standard field is there, X509. X.509. So this is the format for digital certificate. So there are lots of formats are there. So X.509 is a format for digital certificate. That format actually tells you that these are the fields will be there in case of digital certificate. Okay. So these are the fields will be there in case of digital certificate. So there is a version is there. So this actually tells you the version. Then serial number, as I told you that so just like in case of passport, that will be unique in nature. That's why everybody will get different passport number. In case of digital certificate also, there is a serial number will be mentioned here. So this certificate serial number is will be helpful here. So that actually uniquely identify a particular certificate, and no two certificate will have same serial number. After that, signature algorithm identifier. So what type of algorithm you are using, that will be mentioned over here. That is MD5 or SHA1. What type of algorithm you are using, that will be mentioned here. Then the name. Suppose the name is XYZ. So issuer name. Suppose my digital certificate is going to create. So that will be issuer name will be Lopamudra De. Then the validity, just like in case of passport, that is valid from, valid to, that is mentioned here. Also the digital certificate will contain valid from to valid to information. Then subject name, this is the this is issuer name. Issuer name is, that is a certified authority's name. Then subject name is my name. After that, subject public key information, that is my public key value 15, 20, 25, whatever it is. Issuer unique identifier, subject unique identifier, and extension. So some of the more extension will be mentioned over here. So these are the fields that are given by X.5.3. This is the format for the digital certificate. Now after that, how CA signs this digital certificate. So this is the last field, that is digital signatures will be there for the certified authority, CA's digital signature. So how can you get this thing? So first of all taking all these fields, you have to calculate. You have to calculate message digest with the help of message digest algorithm. Whatever algorithm you choose, that is MD5 or SHA1. So this information is given over here, that which algorithm we are going to use. So MD5. From the MD5, the message digest, the digital signature algorithm is generated, and with the then this digital signature is done. So then after the message digest is generated, you have to encrypt it with authorities, certification authorities private key. So with the help of the private key, you will generate the digital signature and will be added over here. Okay. So a message digest will be generated at the last, not containing only the last field. Rest of the all values will be encrypted here. Okay. So now when you send this digital certificate to somebody, so how will you check that if the digital certificate is okay or not? That is how you can. That can be verified. So these are the all fields that we had discussed. So this value you have to generate the message digest at the receiver side. So which algorithm you are going to use, the same thing will be mentioned over here, that if it is MD5 or SHA1, the receiver also perform the same message digest. You will use same message digest algorithm. Algorithm and generate the message digest. Then it will generate one message digest. Then here the certification authority's digital signature is here. So you again decrypt it and generate the message digest, the same message digest that we have generated. There is a message digest we have generated, this one. So if it will check that both the message digests are same or not. If this is same, if it is yes, then the certification is valid and you are going to accept it. If it is not same, then the certification is invalid and you have to reject it. Okay. Okay. Do you have any query regarding this, that how certificates are generated or rest of the other values?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So it is digital certificate is more like message digest type of algorithm, where you need to check it same value. Here the message digest, with the help of the message digest algorithm, you are generating your message digest, and then with the help of the private key you are encrypting it, and that value is present at the digital signature. So how a digital certificate can be verified? So same value will be there. then the message digest algorithm will generate another message digest as MD1. Here, from the digital signature, you will de-signing the algorithm, that is decryption, and generate the MD message digest 2. If you check that if MD1 is equal to MD2 or not, if both are same, then the certificate is valid. Otherwise, you will reject it. That is, during the transmission, it is tampered. That's why the message digest algorithm is generating two different message digests for the same value. That's why you have to reject it. So this is the digital certificate can be verified in that way. So what is X.503? So maybe you will get this type of question that explain 5.503, sorry, 509. So X.509 is a standard for defining the format of digital certificate. So what will be, just like you have done in organization architecture, IEEE standard. So there is some standard. So in case of X.509, there is a standard is there that how you can create digital certificate, what will be the fields will be there in case of digital certificate. So those things you have to mention with the help of this, if you are following this standard X.509. So X.509 is defined by the International Telecommunication Union Standardization Sector. It contains public key and identity information, identity of the individual, along with the organization, along with the host name. Everything is there, and is either signed by the certified authority or self-signed. When a certificate is signed by the trusted certification authority or validated by other means, someone holding that certificate can rely on the public key it contains to establish secure communication with another party or validate documents digitally signed by the corresponding private key. Okay, so these are the things. So if in question it is coming that please explain the X.509 creation procedure. So what you need to write? You need to write these 4 steps. Please go through this section from the book. That is the key generation, registration, verification, certificate creation. So these are the 4 steps that will be required to create a certificate. So X.509 is nothing but a digital certificate that follows this format. Okay, so these are the fields that will be mentioned, specifically mentioning X.509. So there are different types of digital certificate can have. When it follows a particular format, then the digital certificate is called X.509. So if in the question it is asked that please explain the certificate creation of X.509, so you have to write down the 4 steps: certificate creation, registration, verification, and the certificate creation. So these are the steps for X.509. So these are the information you should have, that is version number, serial number, signature, algorithm ID, that is what type of algorithm you are going to use, SHA1 or MD5, validity, that is valid from, valid to, subject name, public key. These are 2-3 optional values are there, issuer unique identifier, etc. So certificate, signature, algorithm, certificate signature, etc, etc. Okay, so this is the digital certificate. If you are facing any difficulty, please go through here. It is page number 206, that the book I had shared to your Google Classroom. There is a page number 206. It contains the digital certificates. So here you can see there is a digital certificate thing is there. So this is one format of the digital signature certificate. There is subject name Atul Kahate. Public key will contain Atul's public key. Serial number, it is a unique number that will be attached to every certificate that will be created by some authority. Then other data just like emails or some organization information, etc, etc. Then valid from, valid to, issuer name. So VeriSign, BillDex are the particular organizations that actually creates the digital certificates. So that's why it is sometimes it is compared with the passport because it contains similar type of value just like passport. So passport, it contains full name, subject name, passport number, serial number, valid from, valid to, same thing, issued by, issuer name, photograph and signature, that is same as the public key. Okay, so the photograph and signature is same as your public key information is there. That's why the passport and the corresponding digital certificate is sometimes similar in nature, it is said. This is certification authority who actually creates the digital certificate. There are two world's most famous CAs are VeriSign and Entrust. There are Safe Encrypt Limited, Satyam Info Way Limited. So these are the first Indian certification authority from the February 2002. So that actually generates these digital certificates for authenticated person. So these are the some versions are there. So if you are using only version 1, then you will have only these fields are there. So when there is a x.50 was created, so that is the first version was there. So that's why it is called version 1. After that, the second version came, that is x.509 version 2, then version 3. So this actually that there is a different variations are there. So first of all, it is called X500. That is the version 1. So version 1 also only contain version, certificate, serial number, signature, algorithm, identifier, issuer name, validity, subject name, subject, public key information. So these only contain the version 1. Then version 2 contains more fields, that is issuer unique identifier, subject unique identifier. Then version 3 contains more extension like email ID or this type of more fields will be added. And that X.509, that is the certificate format that we are using nowadays, that actually contains all these fields along with certification authorities digital signature. Okay, so this is the digital signature. Then digital certificate creation steps, you can go through it, that I had discussed. That is key generation, registration, verification, certificate creation. So this is the key generation steps. So key generation is done. After that, you will do the registration. Then so this is something called registration purpose. So you will write down your full name, email address, organization, country, everything you will there, and then you will do the registration. Okay, so after that you will get one information that congratulations, your request has been successfully submitted to the certificate manager. Then it will be processed and then it will let you know. So those things will be done. So after you have given your name, email ID, everything, so after that the verification process will start. So what will actually done the verification, that you are a legitimate user or authenticated user or not, that thing will be done at the verification step. So there is a proof of possession, that is the POP of the private key will be checked. Mainly what is done by the RA, the RA will create one random number channel, encrypt it with the user's public key, and send it the encrypted challenge to the user. So if the user can successfully decrypt it with her private key, then it will be checked by the, so RA will assume that user possesses the right private key. So certificate creation. So after that, the certification authority will create the certificate and will sign the certificate. So this is something like that. That this is the certificate manager will work on it and generate the certificate. So this is kind of certificate you will see. So it will contain version information, for example, version 3, serial number, that is which algorithm you are using, SHA or MD5, that thing is mentioned over here. For example, it is mentioned over here SHA1, issuer, then validity, that is valid from, valid to. Then the algorithm is used for RSA, for key generation, public key and private key. Both keys will be generated. So public key will be kept with the user and public key will be held here. So when you want to share any communication, you will share the digital certificate with the particular person. Okay, so this is done. So this thing we have already discussed. So this is the thing that I had discussed, that how can you verify the digital certificate. First, the message digest will be generated from all the fields, not considering the last field. Then it will be encrypted by certified authorities private key, and that will be added over here. When you receive it, what you will do, you will again generate the message digest, and you will check this message digest both are same or not. If it is same, then you will see that the certificate, you will approve it. So this is the digital certificate. You can also go through the digital certificate either from the PPT or from the book. Okay. Any doubt, students, regarding this digital certificate? Any doubt? These things you don't need to study. Only digital certificate is enough. Okay, only that portion that I mentioned in the PPT, those portion you need to study from the book. Any doubt? This you don't need to study. The PKIX model, everything else, PKCS model is not required over here. Okay. So next one topic I did not discuss, that is elliptic curve cryptography. So this is the last topic for today. In case of asymmetric key cryptography, key generation is an important step. Okay, so there are different methods are there for key generation. One is RSA, that we have already discussed. Then we have uh, LGAML algorithm, that we have discussed in our class already. Then another algorithm is elliptic curve cryptography. So in case of elliptic curve cryptography, this is one asymmetric key technique based on the elliptic curve theory, that can be used to create faster, smaller, and more efficient cryptographic key. Okay, so most cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or Ethereum uses elliptic curves, because a 256-bit elliptic curve private key is just as secure as 300 3072-bit RSA public key, RSA private key. So smaller keys are very useful to manage and work with. That's why elliptic curve cryptography becomes so much famous nowadays. An elliptic curve consists of all the points that satisfy the equation. So what are the equation? That is y to the power 2 equal to x to the power 3 plus a into x plus b. So if Q is the public key and D is the private key, then Q can be written as D into P, where P is the particular point on the curve. So an elliptic curve consists of all the points that satisfy a particular equation, that is y square equal to x's cube plus a into x plus b. So this is the equation for ellipse. Now, what is the elliptic curve cryptography tells? That if Q is the public key and D is the private key, then Q equal to D into P, where P is the point on the curve. So suppose this is an equation. You can see that equation for a ellipse. So y square equal to x's cube plus ax plus b. Okay, so suppose P is a point on the curve, P is a point on the curve, and Q is the public key. So then the equation can be written as Q equal to D into P. So this is the formula for elliptic curve. So let's discuss the algorithm and key generation steps one by one. in case of elliptic curve cryptography. So there are few items that we have to use. That is E equal to elliptic curve, P equal to point on the curve, N equal to maximum limit. So this should be a prime number. So this should be a prime number. So N is a prime number, E is the elliptic curve, and P is the point on the curve. So key generation is an important part where we have to generate both public key and private key. Key generation is an important part where you have to generate both public key and private key. Just like any other asymmetric key algorithm, just like in case of RSA, in case of LGAMN, we have to generate both public key and private key. In case of elliptic curve cryptography also, we have to generate two keys, one public key and another private key. The sender will be encrypting the message with the receiver's public key, and receiver will decrypt his private key. Now we have to select a number D within the range of N. Using the following question, we can generate the public key, that is Q equal to D into P, where D equal to the random number that we have selected within the range to 1 to N minus 1, and P is a point on the curve. Now we will see that Q equal to your public key and D is your private key. So this is how we will generate the keys. First of all, we have to draw the curve. Just like this, we have to draw the curve. Then we have to select one point in P. Select one point on the curve, that is called P. Okay. Then we have to select one number D having range that exists between the range 1 to N minus 1. Then we will multiply this D into P, and then we will get the Q, where Q is our public key and D is with our private key. So let's discuss that after the key generation is done. After the key generation is done, then what we need to do? We have to do the encryptions and decryption step. What is our encryption? So let M is our message that we are sending, and we have to represent this message on the curve. These have in-depth implementation knowledge details. All the advanced research on elliptic curve cryptography is done by a company called Certicom. So consider M is a point. M has the point capital M on the curve E, and randomly select K between the numbers 1 to N minus 1. So with the help of the elliptic curve cryptography, we have to generate two ciphertexts, C1 and C2, where C1 equal to K into P and C2 equal to M plus K into Q. So K, that is a number, random number that will be generated between 1 to N minus 1, will be multiplied with P and generate the first ciphertext C1. And then how C2 will be generated? That is M plus K into Q, where C1 and C2 will be sent. Now, when the receiver receives the C1 and C2, the receiver will perform the decryption. So, how the decryption can be done? That M equal to C2 minus D into C1. So, this formula you need to use, C2 minus D into C1. So, you will generate two ciphertexts of a particular message M. So, M is your plain text. So, from the M, you will generate two ciphertexts, C1 and C2. And this C1 and C2 will be sent to the receiver. Now, receiver will have to perform the decryption with the particular formula. So, receiver has the private key. As I told you, D is your private key. So, you will perform C2 minus D into C1. Then this you will get back your plain text back with the help of this formula. Okay. So let's prove that how you are getting back your message plain text back from your decryption formula. So M equal to C2 minus D into C1. So let's check that we can get back our M or not. So let's take the RHS, that is the right hand side data, that is C2 minus D into C1. So what we get from the formula, that what is C2? M plus K into Q. M plus K into Q minus, so this is C2 minus D into C1. What is C1? As I know, C1 equal to K into P. So K into P. So from there we can get if you that M plus K into Q means D into P. As we know, K into D into P minus D into K into P. Okay, so these two fields will be cancelling out, and then we will get back our original message M. Okay, so this is the formula by which we can say that that from the decryption message we can get back our message. Okay, so this is our elliptic curve pictography. Any doubts, students?